Alright, I hope that everything's working. Seems like my microphone is picking up some noise. So hello and welcome. This time live coding again. Not LinterCop as last time, but more AL coding this time. As you might have seen in the title, I want to have a look at the GoLiveChecklist app, basically. That app's created by Jeremy Vyska with SpareBrained licensing. It's on GitHub. It's open source as far as I know, yeah. So check it out if you did not see it yet. He demoed it on Tech Days last week. Was it last week? I guess so. As of today, at least. I've put links down in the video description for you to check it out. Really cool stuff. And what I want to do, I just want to play around with it a little bit and take you with me. See if we can do any small pull requests already today. But if not, just figuring out what he did, how he did it, and just fun, I guess. I hope so. All right. So as you can see, I already run it once, and there are a few failures. There are many successes already, and I didn't expect this, to be honest, in a Kronos database. At least not. So yeah, we have some general ledger and posting setup checks. And as you can see, there is something which looks a little bit weird still, but there are a few result texts already. Probably just checking accounts, at least. Then we have some customer tests, whether or not there are blocked, unblocked customers, customer posting setups, and so on, with quite a number of checks. And that's probably just linked to just related to the number of items we have in the system, I guess. I did not put too much attention on the code yet, so I'm just guessing at this point. Then items, again, unblocked, blocked ones. Correct number of expected unblocked items. And a few other things as well. And I don't want to go through all of it. Why do we have like 475 tests for customer and vendor and purchase settings? Interesting. But that's like all there is. At least at this point, we can install this extension, and there are some test libraries required still, so only Docker or local installation where you can import the test toolkits and test libraries and everything, and then you can run either everything or just the selected tests. I'm not sure if I can also run subtests in here, and it just takes a minute or two, and then it refreshes. So, and I think I just saw everything refresh. So it would be interesting to see if that's actually a selection filter or if it just reruns everything in here. So enough client, more VS Code, I guess. So I hope this is big enough, but I think it should be readable. The way the app's structured, and I've just had a quick glance in here already. There are a few folders. We have the check runner code. We have an installation code here which just fires off a business event. Interesting that he chose business event over integration event, to be honest, but fine. Result handler, single instance code unit, interesting. Just some caching, probably just, yeah, we'll see for what this is for. And some utilities as well. Nothing too fancy in here. There is a role center, interesting. Excuse me. Role center, nice. And then there is the main checklists. That's probably just the table and page structure to the categories. So there we can actually check the category, like what was it, the subcategories page, which does a get record, not a get selection filter. So interesting. What does even get record? Gets the current record of the page. Fine, I guess. I'm not sure if this was intentional or if this shouldn't be a get selection filter, but all right. Get next ID. And this is already something which we can improve just because I see it and I like to update stuff like that. Just checking. Okay, we are with runtime 11 already, so that would be the very latest not preview version. So we can, first of all, we can do a set load fields, because we just need the ID. There we go. And we also can set the read isolation level update log. What that will do is make sure that nobody else's increases the ID while just in between this. I mean, it's probably legit because we're just returning here. This code just returns the next ID, but doesn't. I mean, it could take a while until it's written to the database, and if somebody else does the same in between, just another user session, it would pull the same ID, and then we have conflict. So what the update log does is this is the highest log we can do. So there is no read, no write, nothing to the record this code read. So that exact record we pull the ID from here will be blocked until this transaction's finished. This is what this does. All right, so this is this is something we can already improve. Nothing else too fancy. I just saw in here, so probably fine so far. All right. Let's just for consistency's sake, just checking the rest of those. Oh, this is still everything to be classified. No need to set data classification on field level if the header is set. So having the same data classification on field level as the whole table level is actually not necessary. So we can remove that. It will still be to be classified, or we can just save some rows here. All right. Same goes for this. We have the to be classified, so no need to repeat it all the time. And that was a very nice change that Microsoft did here. And then there is no caption for this one. And again, I like to have some kind of consistency when it comes to stuff like this. So even though it's the same in English at least, I like to have the caption in place. All right. So same story here. And since I'm lazy, I'm just gonna copy this over. There we go. It's again the ID column, so then we can just leave it like this. And local records, so no conflicts in here. All right, to be classified, same story. No need to repeat. Flow fields editable false. That's nice already. And then just reducing the footprint on the database a little bit, reading less fields and making sure the update log's in place. So that would be, I think that would be just the guideline checks I do for tables. So let's just commit this. Whoop. Some guidelines changes on tables. All right. Yeah, I know. I never can remember how I can actually set my username for Git. So let me just Google that. And since live, you can follow me on this as well. Git set username and email. There we go. And I don't want to do the global, but I can just copy that command anyways. So I prefer to not have my settings global, so I get reminded and set it correctly for each and every repository. And then it was just user email will be Stefan Maron at outlook.de. There we go. Now we can commit and sync. And this is I forked the repository, so this is not directly pushing it into the main branch, but rather just pushing it into my own fork, and then I will just do a pull request later. All right, back to the code. And what I wanted to have let's look at was also what kind of checks do we have already in here. So apart from the whole framework, so to say, around this extension, there is a bunch of code that actually does the checking. But first of all, there should be the install, and that's like the installation, and then there is there should be the event subscriber. Actually, let's maybe have a look first at the check runner and the test runner. Where's this executed? The list, the card, the subcategories. Okay, so this is actually the run all tests will just run the check runner. Interesting. And if the run categories will set the filter in the check runner and then run the runner. So what it does is it deletes prior results. That's interesting. And I don't know, this is probably a personal opinion, but I like to just separate those things a little bit out of each other, so we can I just find it easier to read and to see the different conditions. So if the it will, so this it seems to be like prepared to delete other stuff as well, but it doesn't have any more references. So what it actually does, it will not filter anything, it will just delete all the test results. Just clear it. And for locking, the way, and this was also explained on a session on Tech Days from Mads from Microsoft. He explained that if this is delete all has very pessimistic locking, so a delete all will, if it's empty, if the table is empty and you call the delete all, it will generate an update lock on the entire table, and if you don't specify any read isolation or anything before that, it would just lock the whole table as long as this transaction runs. And since there is no commit, it would lock the results table for all sessions until all the categories are executed. So what we actually want to do here is first of all, if not is empty, then delete all. So only delete all if there is no record, because if there is, then it will, if it's not empty and you delete all records in the table, just those, as far as I understood, all those records will be locked. But if there are no records, the whole table will be locked. So that's already better. And then I would still set the read isolation to update lock, because as far as I understood, this will limit the locking to this variable and not to the whole table. So if we do reads again, on a different variable but the same table, it will just not have an update lock anymore. So that's how I would do it. And then also there is an insert trigger, but there is no delete trigger yet. But if there would be another extension, and since this probably will be used a little bit more and maybe even go to app source, I don't know about Jeremy's plans in detail, but I would just execute the delete trigger. This will not do a batch delete anymore, at least as soon as there is a subscriber to the delete trigger, but it just, I don't know, I find it cleaner. All right. So, and then maybe this could be a place to do an actual commit, but I would just leave it blank for now. All right, this separated out, and then we have the categories. And again, run for category. It will be, it's just the ID which we need. Set load fields ID and read isolation level read committed, which should be the default, by the way. What if you don't specify the read isolation, it will do in read uncommitted, but a recommendation by Microsoft is to use the read committed from now on. Going forward, I mean, yeah, this is probably Waldo's snippet of the find set repeat. He likes to use this. I prefer to use =0, but okay, I'm not gonna change everything in here. Same story. This is for the categories, and then same story for the subcategories. And let me just check. There's a run for subcategory, which has the category ID and the ID. So let's add the category ID in here. Looks good. Read committed again. This is for update. So, yep, for update. And then we don't want to do read committed, but we actually want to do we want to do an update log in here? I guess the update log will happen anyways since we actually modify those records, so why not? Let's do an update log. Today is uppercase, modify true. There is no validate on the last, so let's call the validate trigger. It's always better to call it, in my opinion. The validate function should be the default. I don't know why we're still so used to, and I count myself in as well, used to just assigning values. I don't know. Okay, so run for subcategory. I like to do it like this. Set filter, use the placeholder in here, because for the third parameter for the set filter, it will actually validate the data type. So if you for some reason refactor in here or anything, the compiler will tell you if you have a data type mismatch. If you just place it in the string in the second parameter, you won't get that. So make sure to just use it like this. Use placeholders, place the following parameters separately so you have data type validation. And then let's see. Now we're down to the test steps. And gosh, I really hope the microphone's picking up. I had it once that the microphone wasn't enabled and I was just talking into mute basically all the time. All right, GLCT test step, read isolation, update log. And I'm not sure yet if we need the update log. This is by reference. We do modify. All right, so update log it is. Find set true it is as well. And then now, according to Waldo, set load fields will still be faster even if we do need to do, if a JIT load will be issued, which will be the case because by reference, and then it will be modified, but I'm not sure if the transfer fields will be handled correctly. So I will just skip the set load fields in here just for once. All right. If not, all right, so here we have the test steps. It will execute the code unit, run it, and if it's not successful, it will log the last error text. All right, so what we want to do here, we want to extract this into a label for future localization or translation of this app. So this would be test step error, I think. And oh yeah, of course, label. And we need to give a comment, and %1 is the last error text. There we go. And now replacing it here. Okay, so because if you just leave it like this in here and at some point translation would get enabled, you would just miss this caption to be translated. So just to keep it clean, putting it into a label directly. All right, so now logging the results. And this will be called, oh, cache error first. We have a result handler. This is just a code unit. So, oh, all right. So there is an error list of text, which will, all right. Now the single instance makes sense. We are logging the error, and then we are also, oh, wait. Where does it, oh, is it, where does it log the results? If it, here it's the get results that's called, and cache results. Oh, from right in here. Okay. So that would be something I would probably restructure a bit, but we can probably leave it like this for now, since that will be a little bit more of a redesign. All right, so let's just, okay, it will get the results, and that's probably just returning a list of text. Yep. What I like to do is just doing it like this, saving a few rows. We have plenty of space in those rows, so we can just accumulate them a little bit more. And then we just iterate it, and it will be written, it will transfer field the test steps into the test results. Interesting. Next result number. The results are result type success. And it will copy string them so there is no warning. Insert true. So I would probably again just validate those. Validate. And why not? Primary keys can be validated as well. All right. And I'm just, I don't know, transfer fields, man. Why is there no transfer fields parameter to actually revalidate all the fields? I don't know. It doesn't feel so good. All right. Validate. And by the way, I'm not even sure if Jeremy knows about this. I did not talk to him, so let's see if he even accepts my changes. But I don't know. I just like to clean up a little bit sometimes. Last run success, error count equals 0. Yeah, that makes sense. And now, oh, this is the results handler. All right, so single instance will get cleared again. Makes absolute sense. Now let's just check if we catched everything. So those are good, those are good, those are probably good. Shouldn't change too much. Okay, so on after test run, is this even called? It's not. If the code unit is called in can other way, then code unit run. With return catching, this trigger will not fire, which is why some of the odd global settings filter functions. I don't know, Jeremy. Not sure if that's linked together. I'm not sure what the idea was. Oh, it's a trigger. All right, I need to read up on this. I mean, I never created a test runner before, so I don't know the details behind it, but very interesting, but too many blank lines. All right. Test runner guideline changes. So we did, there's a bunch of green in here. Set load fields read isolation, set load fields read isolation, find set true, validate, or the, like, no, okay. I thought I might miss some other validates. Read isolation, no. Let's actually add a comment. Not sure if set load fields would be good here, since the variable is passed by reference and used for a transfer fields later. All right. Others might look at this and say, well, you didn't set load fields here, so just in case. All right, the label got added, more blank lines, read isolation. We don't need set load fields here, since both function neither is empty nor delete all will query any fields. It will just, this will be a top 0 null from, I guess, in SQL, and the delete all will just, this doesn't even query anything, it just filters and deletes. So refactoring this a little bit, the validates in here, we already had inserts true, modifies true, so everything good in here. So commit, cancel, save, stage again, now commit. All right. Installation, nothing to see here. This was the single instance code unit, which is fine for now, I guess. Now, the utilities, upset record. All right, this is called, I saw this before, this is called from the actual install code units from those code units which actually hold the code. So let me just pull up them. So if we look at the categories, for example, the sales categories, there is a sales install, which will install all, just insert all the records and linking the code units to it. So there's the customer block code unit. The demo filler is not linked, but the demo result set, which is just sample. Interesting. There's the customer set. This will give the category ID. It will insert the subcategory unblocked, blocked, whatever, and then and then always get a new subcategory ID. The category ID will be the same, and in the test step, which is just the demo result. Oh, okay, right. Okay, now I get it. It's not really complete yet, but it doesn't matter. It was just for demoing purposes, I guess, so far. So let's just continue with the utilities for now. Categories, set range. That's all right. It will see if the description already exists. And if it does, it will just exit this. So let's actually check. We don't have a key for the description, so let's just add this key. Description. All right. Utilities. That will actually help this quite a lot, I guess. Now, again, set load fields will only be description and read isolation level, read committed. See, those kind of questions you should have, I should have had when I watched Microsoft guys talk about this feature. What if I do read committed here because I need it for the find first? Because if I just find first and exit, I don't want to have an update log. But if I then insert a new record, I guess it doesn't matter, since then it would be, I don't want to log the record I've read, and if I did not find any, I do not want to log anything. And if I then insert the record, the new one, that one won't be visible to others who read committed, since I just wrote it. Okay, so that's probably fine like this. It's not fine as the missing validate. We have the insert true, which is good. And then we exit the new ID. That makes sense. All right. Now, same story here. Just for the subcategory. And category and ID would be primary keys. So we probably just need the same key we created here. For the subcategory as well. Since primary keys are inserted automatically into the key. At the end though, but it shouldn't matter. It should find it, should be able to do an index scan just like that. And then same story, validate. And we don't care about the ID. Is it set on insert? Oh, it is. All right, it is. Okay, now the same story again for the step. And 3 primary keys and the description again. I'll just copy it over since, yeah. Copy is always better than, copy paste is always better than typing it out yourself. And please don't quote me on this. All right. Yeah, and there we already. Like, why did I even set the load fields to description should be ID? and validate. Insert true validates. Perfect. Yeah. I was just thinking about if that wouldn't be better off as a case. That's probably just min-maxing, but then again, extra characters, not a fan of those. So we don't need to have parentheses for single condition ifs in AL. So I just like to remove those if I see them. Alright, I guess that was utilities. Utilities. Guideline changes. Alright, that would just be the review of the framework, basically. And what I would just like to do now let me just install another extension, the AL LinterCop, and I'm not sure if this will now work or not. Since I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm working on Ubuntu, so I'm oh, there it is already. I'm never quite sure which extensions work and which don't work. So I don't have too many extensions installed, but I thought I fixed the linter lately. So let's see. And I just want to have these code cups. And also need to enable code analyzers for true. And then there is also code actions, of course, we want to have. Oh, those are on by default already. All right. So let's do. And then also AL dot there was another one for analyzes, statistics, rule sets, script intelligence, like the scope for those background code analysis file. There we go. This was the one I wanted to have. Now let's see what kind of warnings do we get. And it's actually the linter, so the linter works. That's nice. Yeah, we don't have actually we don't have a permission set. Do we have a permission set? Why are those not warned about? Let's just do a compile. Ah, that's great. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The data classification. No, this is another rule that doesn't work. So let's just see. There is some issue with that rule on Linux. I don't know why. Let's just see what the number of the rule was. LinterCop wiki. It was, I know which one it was, but I don't remember the rule. The last one, the field groups. And question would be if I can just switch it off in the app.json, or if I need to have a rule set. Suppress warnings. Yeah, that works. Right, that's great. So there is a bunch of warnings. There is actually quite a number of warnings. So let's figure out what's going on here. All right. Ignoring the categories for now. Let's just see what kind of errors do we get. Permission set basically is the one that's missing here. So that's a quick one. We just will generate a new one, and that would be, let's just do this for now. All right, there we get the permission set, and the ID is pulled automatically. It's the all permission set, so GLC all permission. Is this not too long? Yeah, the permission. Yeah, I know. Wrong name. So there we go. All right, that fixed already quite a number of warnings. So let's go ahead. Okay. Look up page ID and drill down page ID must be filled. So what do we have here? It's the category. Let's just check in the client whether this is okay, or if this maybe not even should be searchable. And we really need to have Business Central in some kind of dimmed or dark mode or whatever. So this is not even visible. So why does it even... Oh. Stupid me. Categories list. And this will be the lookup page ID. It's just called different, and the drill down page ID, I guess. And there we go. No warning anymore. Caption for general is missing. Yep. Even though it's not visible. Not sure why it's not visible. All right. I just stopped a moment because why does why does it not have an application area? Like in my books, the page should have an application area, and the usage category would be none. And then all others, and there is a warning, like an info in the linter. If you're at a certain runtime, you can remove the application area from all fields afterwards. This will run the tests for the selected categories. Get selection set selection filter. There we go. The tooltip confirms it. All right. Yeah, I did not really touch this. There is a casing wrong. I don't know. I will ignore the role center for now. Check runner. What did I miss? Yep, that's right. I mean, if it complains, there might be a reason for it. I don't know. Test code unit ID, and then we're done. I will not commit the settings in the app.json for now, since I'm not sure if Jeremy wants to have those things included, but I will just comment some more changes found with code cops. There is something not saved. Oh, yeah, this one. I reverted my changes and did not save them. All right. Yeah, see, and there are a few more things like this. I don't need to have a begin end if there's just one line. Again, some just code that just some lines that I can save. The default code cops also complain about those things that I did before in those other objects, where you want to have error message or text constants in general as a label. You can still lock them if you don't want to translate them, but it's better practice just to have those labels in place. Again, begin end stuff, label stuff, nothing too fancy. What's going on with this one? It's unused, and this one's like, okay, the name's not valid. That one should be ignored. Actually, I mean, at least I ignore it. Labels, not actually changed. You could still gain some performance improvement, but it's a nice hint. If you declared them by reference but did not change them, maybe you intended to change them. But yeah, so you just get notified a little bit. And then sales in here, more labels, and that's it. So nothing too fancy, but still, since those checks we have here are rather they were probably for demo purposes a little bit. So really quick putting together, and seeing this now also with those sample checks in place, I guess the result handler could actually be changed into some approach with interfaces to just get rid of the single instance, and also the decoupled caching. I don't know. I mean, it works. It's not ugly, but it doesn't feel good. Yeah, I don't know. Need to think about this a little bit. I'd say, well, that's before I call it a day. There is more stuff. Oh, this is the role center part. Okay. So I don't really care about this. I will switch it off again. Enable code unless it's false. So I can publish this right now because I'm not using the role center anyways, and we need to leave something for next time, I guess. Show the checklist. No. Don't know what this is. Did not see it in code, so not sure which extension this is actually. So just pull up those, run all tests again. Let's see if it still works or if we broke something. Looks good to me. No error messages is a good sign. So with this, I will wrap it up for today. I mean, we have after midnight already, so time to go to bed finally. I hope you enjoyed this. and I hope to be able to do some more videos like this, more recordings, more open source stuff. Want to do some more contributing, and will take you along the way if you want to. Have a good day and see you soon.